Now we're kind of moving into this 4G space. How do you guys see, I guess, the longevity or the 4G technologies kind of playing out over a span? I mean, again, with people looking to invest in, in some networks or in some devices or using wireless for their enterprises, that's got to be a concern for people is, what's this lifespan? What kind of return can we get on a 4G network or 4G investment? So how do you guys see this new evolution of technologies kind of playing out over the next several, 10, however many years it could be working?
So let me say, I think LTE is going to be epic. If you want, write my name down, write Jerry Power, Alcatel-Lucent, write the date. This is Houston, Texas. And I'm willing to, 5 years from now, if you guys look me up and if you disagree, if you think if that hasn't been the understatement of the year, I'll pay you cash money. So you can take that. The reason I'm saying that is really multifold. If you think about the device market, and let's just take that for one segment of what's going on. We have historically had devices spread over, there was, CDMA, there was WCDMA, WiMAX. We finally have a universal 4G standard. So all the device guys are lined up and heading in the same direction. And if you look at the progress that has been made on the device side compared to where we were at equal sort of point in time with 3G, we're actually progressing a lot faster than we were before. The other thing that's starting to happen on the device side is you're seeing ecosystems form around these devices and the applications. Things like the NG Connect program, which is bringing together people who work on content and people who work on applications and devices, trying to solve bigger problems than just how do I communicate back and forth. They're bringing things like connected cars to market, and you're seeing all kind of innovative stuff starting to happen, and that is really earth-shattering. The other thing to keep in mind, so that's sort of point one. The other thing to keep in mind is what's going on in cloud. And even though this is a wireless conference, cloud is incredibly important to what's going on in the wireless market. If you look at cloud services that are out there today, there's a bunch of them, but they're all sort of 0.1 generation or generation 1.0 cloud services. Just about everybody I talk to is working on a new definition of cloud that is really going to be phenomenal in terms of breakthrough, in terms of improved performance, its reliability, it's being distributed. So there's a whole thing that's going on the cloud side that's going to let you take that intelligence out of the cell phone that you've been carrying around, and instead of what you can do being limited to what's on the cell phone, you'll be able to run it on the cloud, and the devices become much more multifunctional for really even shrinking the form factor. You can even take that and throw that away and it's gone.
So
he has props, ladies and gentlemen, props. You got to give up.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's really your cell phone,
we'll be smashing,
I'll buy you a new one.
We'll be smashing watermelons later. So.
One thing we promised that we'll make this not too boring and a little bit controversial. So I'll partially agree with you, partially not. The partial agreement is in 2001, I was in Europe deploying the first large-scale commercial WCMA rollout in Spain with Vodafone. And that was the start. It took till 2005 before you saw really widespread WCDMA deployment somewhere. And that was one ugly deployment, first deployment. That said, with folks like Verizon pushing LTE so hard, a couple forecasts I've seen, one that I have some confidence in, 65 million devices next year that are going to be LTE devices. That's a big number, and that's mostly North America. So yes, it's going to take time, but I think there are forces pushing it harder than it may want to go, just because the need to get onto this broader standard, higher bandwidth is out there. You can retort.
Well, I think I'm in Jerry's camp, actually. So when you think about what's going on with 4G, specifically LTE Advanced, it's actually the very first time we've had a unified global standard. And I think that that's huge. Always before, we've had these sort of competing camps of technology, and I think that's kind of confused things and limited the deployments a little bit, or the ascension of any unified standard. So you have a tremendous backing behind the ITU, the IEEE, all of these organizations pushing this forward. At the same time, referencing Verizon specifically, you have the success, the uptake rate of their deployments that they've had so far. And at the same time, you have the emergence of tablets and iPads and those sort of vehicles which are now predicted per a recent report to actually pass the sales of notebooks and PCs in 2015. So that comes back to the point about cloud computing and connectivity. That's everything, because those machines are not particularly bright. They're good at displaying information, but not storing it. So connectivity is the key, and I think the future there is going to be a ubiquitous, seamless wireless system, and LTE provides that. So that's 4G.